How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Muv-Luv Monday, where we are in the midst of crisis. It's bad. So initially we were worried, oh yeah, they're gonna bomb the crap out of the place from you know, like, to try and prevent the terrorists from getting away. Turned out we didn't need to worry about that at all. The beta took care of that. Oh yeah, the beta are here. Isn't that great? They were let out of the lab. Turns out there's a lot of them. Like, not even just like a little bit. I was hoping it'd be like a small little pack, because that'd already be enough of a challenge. No, this is like effectively a battalion, and it includes laser class, which we actually haven't had to face yet. Like, really face yet. So, that's cool. We don't even have any ammunition. Or at least, I guess we picked up a little bit, but it's nothing. They're encroaching on the base, and not even that, but the Russian leadership is terrified that the beta are going to find something on the base before, and if they are not prevented from getting. So, like, I'm guessing that they're scared that the beta are going to learn something and take it back to the hive. That's really what they're worried about. So now we might want to blow the base up. I don't know. It's great. It's great. We did end up, like, while we were extracting information, Giselle did take care of herself, unfortunately. Dogulu is still trapped, but he refused to negotiate with the terrorists, and we are panicking for good reason. Though it looks like we might be trying to get back to possibly get restocked up, and we know that Yuuya just got picked up by Victor. Like, Victor found her, said, hey, come on in, let's top you up, you know, like, hopefully Kriska and Yuuya can get together again, because I think that if we can get them together and get them some ammo, we might have a shot at preventing this from really cascading into insanity. Because that's the other thing too, you gotta think about. Beta coming towards the base, they're gonna kill everybody. Like, they're gonna kill everybody. So yeah, it's great. Good fun, jolly good time. Let's see what happens, shall we? It won't do. No matter how many times I run the numbers, our propellant won't last long enough. We're in dire need of refueling. This beast took us to the limit. Oh yeah. We'll be done in time for dinner, because we'll be dinner. Main entree to beta. Yeah, it's kind of a miracle it's still functioning, considering that it took like a suicide run from another TSF. Like, I mean, essentially, it's like, that's the same thing as like being in your car and getting hit on a head-on collision with another car and expecting it to just continue running. Sure, you can survive such a crash, and your car could survive such a crash, but it's kind of a miracle that it's still running. Yep. Yep. Sorry, I got a hangnail. We have two choices: evacuate civilians from the entertainment district, or deal with the beta ourselves. No matter what we choose, we'll have to fend off the enemy's TSF squadrons. Cool. We'll have to leave Yukon base to its fate. No other choice. She's so cool under pressure. Like, I don't mean like, oh, she's awesome. She is awesome, but like, she's just locked in. She handles crisis. Like, she doesn't panic, or at the very least, she doesn't show her panic. Ah, she's actually got a good point here. Where are they? I mean, she's kind of got a point. My thinking here, of course, is the fact that what America did is they send the Infinities once they learn that a terrorist threat is impending. rather than just stopping it outright, they're going to use it to their advantage for something. And what we've seen is that they're on some kind of covert Black Ops mission, like to the point where the Infinities are unable to communicate, they're unable to be contacted in any way, shape, or form. They don't even know what they're doing until they got their orders after they went black. Like, not black, I mean, they went, like, radio silent. So, yeah, they're up to something shady, but I think they're just using this as a smokescreen for whatever they want to accomplish, which is really weird, because what on earth is up here that's that important to allow a terrorist attack like this to occur? In fact, it seems like the Americans were fully prepared, because that bomber squad that was sent up here seemed pretty ready to come up here and eliminate everything. So they didn't anticipate the release of the beta, it sounds like, but they were going to be willing to allow the base to die, you know, to be destroyed, including the civilians, so that they could get away with whatever the mission the Infinities are doing. So what are they doing? What's worth that? Well, if we assume the U.S. is the mastermind behind today's attack, that would explain why Yukon base folded so quickly. The U.S. military certainly has the capabilities to occupy this place, and then some. No, that's the thing, though. Like, it's not the U.S. behind it. They probably just didn't stop it. There's a big difference there, but I could see it being confusing. But even if we have the capabilities, what's our motive? War is the continuation of politics. War is the continuation of politics by any means. So how does the American military, how does America stand to benefit from today's events?
Now,
we know from a narrative perspective that didn't happen, but like think about the reality of that. It's like, oh gosh, like we could be flying into a trap with armed, really deadly TSFs that we wouldn't even detect on our sensors.
最悪を想定すんのはいいけどさ、ラプターが敵に回ってるなら、とっくの昔に襲ってきてるんじゃねえの？それがないってことなら気にするだけ無駄じゃね？もともと状況なんて完全にわかるわけねえんだからさ。敵になったらなったで、やっちまえばいいだけだって。
It's kind of funny because like I'm so against like foolhardy headlong rushes into the danger. I'm a thinker, I'm a planner, I'm a strategist type of individual. Like I'm terrible at strategy, but that's the kind of person I am. I approach a situation, I like to think my way through, and I like to try and like approach all the angles and try and account for what could possibly happen. I think it serves me well, but there is something to be said for somebody who's saying like, look, we're in the clear so far. We don't really have many choices, so we probably should just go and deal as things come up. Like, obviously, it's great to outthink and outmaneuver, but in a time-sensitive situation, you don't have the luxury of being able to think things through super well. So, she's got a point. Teresa's not one to walk on eggshells. Optimistic to the point of stupidity, she just stomps on them. Consequences be damned. Glad to see there's some things never change.
ちょっと警戒心持ちなさいよ。でも、一理あるわね。
万が一を想定し、移動の際には 機体間の距離を大きく取ろう。露見率は高まるが、誘導弾対策になる。
Realistically, that's about all we can do. Better pray it's not raptors we'll be facing.
ところで、推進剤の補給は結局どうするわけ？
宇宙王冠機の発着場もぶっ壊されちまったしな。補給コンテナの集積場は？
練習前でもない限り、基本は空よ。特に、カーニの厳しい推進剤はね。
なんだよ、ここまで来て撃ってなしなのかよ。
Don't throw in the towel just yet. There's a place where we can refill our tanks to the brim with plenty of ammo around to sweeten the deal.
あるっけ、そんなとこ。
Swear to God.
何？どこだ？
The security unit's TSF hangar. And sure bet these guys haven't burned through all their supplies.
ゆうや、お前バカ？自分が何言ってるのか分かってんのか？警備部隊のハンガーに仕掛けるなんて。
I'm sick and tired of running like a scared dog. That place is our best chance to resupply. I say we try our odds.
あのな、そりゃ、いや、でもな。
I mean, it's a gamble, but I would also point out that, like, we've seen mostly empty TSFs on auto flight. Most likely, any TSFs we come across are going to be on auto flight. That implies that they're really lacking in pilots. That probably means that they don't have many staff that are in TSFs that can actually defend the security depot. Anything that's in a TSF that's got a pilot in it, it's probably out on patrol because that's where they're really needed right now. So that actually, the chance of it being fairly undefended is pretty high. The problem is ground troops. It's guaranteed to have some ground defenses. While they don't stand a chance against a TSF mano a mano, getting to the controls, getting to the access to the goods, not very likely. God, who cares? Why are you being such a P? We've got enough propellant and ammo to take these guys down. He who dares wins. That's practically your motto when we play cards, isn't it?
カードゲームとは違うんだよ。自重しろ、自重。いや、盲点かもしれない。テロリストも我々の戦力低下は把握している。放置しているとすれば、我々に実行力がないと認識しているか、あるいはもともと頭数が不足しているか。
It could be both even, a little bit. To be fair, it could also be a trap, but I couldn't give her less of a crap.
なるほどね。テロリストは司令部だの原子炉だの守るべき施設が多い。
Exactly.
だから戦力を均一には残せない。
Again, like, it could just be a lack of pilots per se, but like, even then, it kind of goes to show, like, their resources are really limited right now. I would bet good money no one's looking after the outdoor hangars. These guys don't have the manpower to defend all facilities from all we've seen. We have to pick, and they have to pick their battles. Why else would you destroy the development force's open-air hangars instead of using them? And if you had pilots to spare, why would you even think about fielding TSFs on autopilot? During the opening stages of the attack, it was us on the defensive, but now our positions have reversed and it's our turn to go on the offensive. Excuse me.
略奪強奪は戦争の常。いけるんじゃない？さすが私の夫ね。
Oh my gosh, you're gonna make Yuuya blow a blood vessel if you keep up talking like that. For the 9th time, for the nth time, I'm not your husband.
ったく、中国人ってやつは4000年前から何一つ進化しちゃいね。
Hey. All our cultures, all our backgrounds are full of marauders. We're all guilty of that one.
ネパールの野人に言われたくないわね。
Ooh.
はあ
They mesh together surprisingly well.
移動するぞ。兵装を確認しろ。戦闘の可能性もある。近接データリンクで集結座標を送る。
今から公開するのはアメリカ大統領とソ連書記長の間で直接更新された内容の録音です。
Oh, interesting.
あらまあ、芝居がかっちゃって。酔ってんじゃないわよ、まったく。
カッキー、全周囲警戒を維持。はあ？何言ってんだよ。早く行こうぜ。動くのは声明を確認してから。
Oh, interesting.
嫌な予感がする。
General Headquarters Building, Yukon Army Base.
一体何だと言うんだ。先ほどの放送は。
レッドシフトとはシャレが効いていますね。まさかここまで異常な作戦が存在しているとは考えてもいませんでした。
Interesting. Redshift. So it's funny because, like, I don't. It's been a while since I've ever talked about this because it just doesn't come up. But the nickname of the channel, TheBlueShifting. So, what the origin of that is? Blue Shift was a nickname I picked up in middle school. Just for it was like a game tag for my Xbox. It was like a name I used on the internet. Unfortunately, it's too specific a term to make it very easy to find on YouTube, and I think it'd been taken already, and so the blue shifting, because like I went from blue shift to blue shifting, and then the blue shifting for the channel name because it was the closest I could get to it. But the whole idea is like I thought it sounded really cool. My friend actually was the first one to pick it. One of my closest friend in high school, he picked the nickname Redshift. I was like, that's really cool, but it also made sense because his favorite color was red, my favorite color was blue. It was something we always kind of talked about, so I did the name Blue Shift. And our friends took it up the monochroism. Like, so one of my friends was Orange Shift, one of them was Cobalt Shift, one of them was Yellow Shift, one of them was Pink Shift. Like, we just picked a color and put shift afterwards. It just kind of became this kind of ubiquitous kind of naming scheme we came up with all my friends. Turned out, the first two that we picked, red shift, blue shift, are actual terms in science and physics that we learned. A red shift and a blue shift are essentially the, oh, shoot, I can't remember what it's called. It's on the tip of my mind. I know exactly what it is. It's where the sound effect you have when a train goes by or a car goes by, where it goes vroom, like that's the compression and then the stretching of sound waves as something moving quickly goes past you. As it's coming closer to you, like the new sound waves are pushing against the sound waves that came up that were emitted before, and so it kind of compresses them all and makes the pitch elevate. And then when it's going away, the sound waves are elongating because of the gaps and stretches between the two different, like the sound waves themselves are being stretched because as the sound's being emitted, the object is moving further away, and so like the sound stretches down. That's where I get the meow sound from. In physics, you get the same effect with light, which is how we can measure the direction and the directional movement and speed of objects traveling in space, because they compress or stretch out light spectra as they travel. So you can look at with a tuned telescope, you can look at a star, you can tell, is it moving towards us or further away, and you can kind of gauge in general like a relative estimated speed at which it's traveling that distance because of the shifting. So the red shift and blue shift. A red shift is when something's moving away from you and it stretches that light out and kind of makes all the light spectra dip towards the red side of the spectrum, which on the visible light spectrum is the lower energy. So the bigger gaps, the wider wavelengths, red shift. Blue shift is the opposite, where something is moving very rapidly toward you, and thus it compresses the light and pushes it towards the blue side of the spectra, which is a higher frequency, meaning it's moving quickly towards you. So if you were to interpret the name of the channel, literally, the blue shifting means something that's moving very quickly towards you, like on a cosmic scale. So, what is it that this initiative, this measure they call a red shift? I'm curious to see, is it just a cool sounding name, or are they actually using it as a monicum for something that's moving rapidly away from you? Because I don't know what that could end up being. Sounds scary.
ベーリング海峡を越えたベータがアラスカの一定ラインに到達した場合、地中深くに仕掛けられた数千の水爆が一斉起爆。
Okay. So they have a booby trap to try and prevent any landfall in Alaska from Beta. Essentially, it's a failsafe. But it's so big, it's going to destroy everything in this area, probably destroy half of Alaska, creating effectively a new trench in the ocean. Yeah, that's great. That's gonna be fun.
上陸したベータを殲滅すると同時に、新たな海峡を築き、防衛線の再構築を図る。スケールが大きいにも程がある。
Right. Ooh.
まさに、神をも恐れぬ商業。アメリカにしか計画も実行もできない。
Those some big words coming from a guy who's going to literally irradiate all of Alaska to try and prove a point. Oh no, the Americans have gone too far. They're going to nuke everything and create a big disaster in order to prove a point. Dude, you are such a hypocrite.
アラスカを咀嚼する際の付帯条件だ。飲まざるを得ない。
しかし、その条件は民衆には知らされなかった。
Oh, of course not. This had to be a secret.
当時の我が国には人民を養うだけの土地が必要だった。アメリカが本土防衛の盾として我が国を利用するのは合法だが、納得せざるを得なかった。この真実を人民に知らせるべきではないと考えた党の選択も
Unfortunately,
間違
though,
っていないと確信している。
again, it's that whole idea of deposed nations being used as shields. You know, so Russia is the deposed nation being used as a shield for America. And so Russia uses deposed nations of their subsidiaries to be a shield to protect them. It's layers and layers and layers of the refugee crisis, actually, if you really look at that. It's like, sure, the Russian people aren't all refugees, but they're in a very similar position that the refugees are. The refugees are just at the bottom of this totem pole. Like, I bet you if they could, they'd put refugees in front of the lines of the suppressed states that the Soviets have. So they have like the Kazakhstans and Morocco, and I think it's Morocco, is it Jordan, Uzbekistan, like these other nations that in this world line are being essentially thrown out to protect the Russian core people. And if they could, they'd put refugees in front of that line So essentially, Russia is being treated like a refugee state, but then they treat their states like refugee states who treat their states like refugee states. It's just a big dissemination, ironically. Again, these terrorists are having a decent point, even though they're absolutely in the wrong. But at the same time, because they didn't tell these people, a lot of their party probably have started making settlements on the Alaskan land that is going to immediately in danger of this bomb chain reaction.
国家間のパワーバランスや国際情勢、政治家はそれらを加味し最良の選択をしなければならない。それが政治だ。貴様たちの語る綺麗事だけで世の中は動かない。
閣下、あなたが守ろうとしているのは人間ではない。政府や国家、己が所属し利を得ることができる組織のことだ。選ばれた自分たち以外の人間は思考する必要はない。あなたの発言の意味するところはそういうことではないのですか？知らせず語らず、選ばれた階級にいる者だけが全てを支配する。このユーコン基地もそうでしょう。戦術機開発と称してはいるが、実態は戦後のパワーバランスを占う模擬戦に勤しんでいる。
I mean, he's not wrong.
税を尽くした歓楽街まで設置して、さぞや楽しかったことでしょう。
すべての人間を救うことはできない。だから誰かが選ばなければいけない。最も多くの人間を救う方法を。
あくまでも安全な場所で、自分が生きるということを外さずに。
It is interesting. When people make the hard choices that put people's lives at risks, they often never put their own life at risk. Not really.
我々は多くを望むつもりではなかった。弱者の声を拾うシステムを作ってもらえるだけで十分だった。一度でいい。世界に強く訴えたかった。だが、あなた方は交渉の席に着くどころか、我々の存在自体を抹消しようとした。交渉が決裂した今、我々に残された手段は、世界に真実を伝えるため、最後まで戦い抜くことだけ。
So what's this broadcast?
この状況を招いたのは、
I'm really curious what this is going to be.
誤った世界は正さなければいけない。それが、主の教えです。
お願いがあります。指揮権を私にお譲りください。ここから先は私が引き継ぎます。
Interesting. You were pretty hesitant up till now.
バレンタイン、何を言っている？
これは必要なことなのです。アメリカ、ソ連、国連と対決することはすでに明確になりました。それでも私たちは戦い抜かねばなりません。1秒でも長く存在し、世界に我々の主張を訴え続けねばなりません。ですから。
I just realized though, like while she was talking, I was like, why she changed? What is different? I was like, oh, her sister just died. And she had that really that confrontation with Dogulu where like a hero of hers has proven in her eyes to be a coward. I don't think he is, but she sees it that way. Her whole worldview has been shaken up. She's operating on a lack of sleep. Yeah, that's a pretty good situation for a radical change of personality.
我々にはあなたが必要なのです。あなたはここで死ぬことが許される人ではない。あなたは私たちだけではなく、より多くの民を導かねばならない方です。先ほど、妹を亡くしました。最後まで戦い続けたとのことです。彼女が私の目を覚ましてくれました。
Right. Again, though, this...
私は彼女の行為に報いなければいけません。
I apologize. Remember though,
彼女はこの世界を変えられると心から信じていた。
The pauses are so long, it's hard to know when she's done talking. I wish I knew Japanese. If I could just understand Japanese, I'd understand better. But she's saying lots of words in this I've never heard or very rarely hear.
ウズルムか。
生き別れになった妹と再会できたのは、あなたのおかげです。私はあなたに感謝しています。いえ、ここにいるすべての仲間があなたに感謝しています。
バレンタイン。
ベータはエベンスクハイブに寄贈する可能性が高いと考えられます。 地下深くにあるこの司令部であれば安全かとは思いますが、相応の混乱が発生するのは間違いないでしょう。
Okay, so most everyone on the base will die.
そして何より敵がこの機に乗じる可能性があります。現在保有しているだけの戦術機があれば、研究所のベータの殲滅は可能でしょうが、両大国を敵に回しての戦争ともなれば、現有戦力で簡単に防衛できるというものではないはずです。あなたの庇護に甘えるだけということは、もう終わりにします。ここは我々だけでも十分です。あなたを失えば、再び難民たちの力を集結させるのは困難です。敵が最も望んでいることはそれでしょう。
Ironically, I think this is what the Master wanted from the beginning. Like, he might sound hesitant, he might not be ready to go quite yet because he's been enjoying the theatrics, but I still 100% believe that he specifically brought her along and, like, kind of buttered her up, essentially, and set her to be the one to make the announcements and stuff, because I think he wanted to be given this excuse to just bow out before everyone else dies.
脱出してください、マイマスター。あなたが生き続けることが、我々の闘争が続いている証となります。いつか、私たちの主張が認められるまで、あなたには困難な道を歩んでいただかなくてはなりません。ここは私が引き受けます。あなたは、この後の世界を改革してください。
わかった。だが、せめて君の生命が終わるまでは、ここにいさせてほしい。君の後を継がねばならないのだ。私は、君の姿を瞳に焼き付けておかねばなるまい。
Stand by security force hangar, Yukon Army base. Sure near second, refueling complete.
了解。次は私の番ね。
Moving to perimeter lookout. Yep, not much of an issue, looks like. It's really quiet, though. Here they come.
早すぎだろ、このせっかち野郎め。
Just driving them away is fine. Feeding them bullets would be better, though.
機影中に後続の反応はない。
重大規模。やっぱり遊撃部隊を残してたのね。前期を拠点防衛に回すなんて思ってなかったけど、こっちはカツカツだってのに。
Unfortunately, this might have that one Christoph pilot that we really need to worry about. Yeah. The open line? What's this a-hole playing at?
ママのおっぱいが吸いたいんだろ。だったら先に俺を行かせてみろ。
ラスト地下は無人機だ。ファルクラムから狙え。
Wait. Argus 1 to all TSF, say as before, I'll be the bait. Cover me. Careful, Yuuya. Be careful. We only need to scare this guy off.
見くびるなよ。サンダーク注意には降りてもらっている。
Oh, they're not biting.
こいつら、オートのはずなのに。
UFA, evasive maneuvers. Why are they behaving differently from the others? It's because they're all piloted, I'm thinking.
無人機ってのはこう使うんだ。
Oh, he's gonna use them as kamikazes. Can't believe someone can work together as well with a bunch of unmanned TSFs. Oh, fetch me. Yufei! Shoot, Yufei's down again. God. She better not die in this crap hole.
どうしたテストパイロットども。その程度か。戦争は曲芸じゃねえぞ。こうやるんだ。
Crap.
ブリッジス、私が敵を引きつける。
学んでる少尉。了解。
What just happened there?
もらった。
Oh! What? Boom, boom, here she comes. Inya! Oh, I almost feel bad for the terrorists now.
勢いづかせちまったか。だがこの程度では終わらねえよ。
I don't know, man. You don't know.
調査、撤退だ。即時帰投しろ。
撤退しろだと。貴様はアホか。
命令を散々無視して
手負いの獣に噛みついた挙句、防衛に必要な戦術機を減らしているのは貴様だ。繰り返す。即時帰投しろ。連中は捨てておけ。貴様にはやってもらうことがある。
この素人が。
これは命令だ、少佐。それとも貴様はマスターの言葉に従わないとでも言うつもりか。
チェ、撤退する。ついてこい。ダチンだ。受け取れ。俺だからバカと一緒に仕事はしたくねえんだ。
Uh-huh. I'm guessing he attacked like fuel supplies or something.
以上が自らの保身のためにアラスカにおける人命を差し出す者たちの考えです。
Oh boy.
このような密約がアメリカとソ連との間に交わされていた事実、どう考えますか？
Oh boy.
ベータが北米大陸に上陸した場合、アラスカの大地に仕込まれた数千の水爆が一斉起爆し、ベータを殲滅する。
Oh, I thought it was in the water. No, they just put it on in Alaska. Oh, okay, yeah, that's bad. I mean, it makes sense, but who?
地形を変え、新たな海峡を創造することで防衛線を再構築する。そこに住まう人々の犠牲は考慮しない。そして何より、この事実はアメリカとソ連の共謀のもとに全て隠匿されてきた。彼らはこれこそが政治というが、それは本当に正しいのか？私にはそうは思えない。全世界の人類が集結し、協力して戦わなければならない難局を迎えてもなお、世界の大国はベータ大戦後を見据えて自らの勢力を伸ばすことに注力している。
I mean, I've always thought it was really scummy that they do that. I understand why, because they're really confident in Alternative 5, but nobody knows that. So if you like had no idea about the potential of Alternative 5, let alone Alternative 4, and you hear that like they are playing these war games and preparing for a post-war world where they're going to try and decide who's dominant, and they're fighting and like conspiring against each other while Beta are actively destroying 2/3 of the planet, yeah, I'd be pretty pissed. I'm kind of pissed off as it is, and I understand everything.
敵対する陣営の戦力がベータによって削られることを望み、窮地に陥るのを幸いとし、真の意味での協調を図ることはしない。
It sucks when they make so much sense, because you want to hate everything about these terrorists. You want to believe that they're just like doing this to harm people and are crazy or misguided, but then you really actually ask yourself, you really look, you really start to see like the facts, regardless of like biases or personal like maybe emotional attachments. You try and really pull back. You can just see there's no good side here. In fact, you almost start having sympathy for forces like the Beta. This is also why in the 40k, like Warhammer 40k universe, I'm a big fan of that universe in general. Also Warhammer Fantasy, but 40k, my favorite race, my favorite like tabletop like war machine is the Tyranid, because it's hard not to see the justification of just something that's very calculating and about like, you know, like it's removed from like politics, it's removed from like emotion. It's just like do what you do to survive, like make it happen, make things work out. It's like, it'd be nice if we weren't always so human sometimes. I mean, what makes us human and flawed is the most beautiful thing about us, but sometimes it's also one of the worst parts of us.
これら各国政府に我々の命と地球の運命を任せるわけにはいかない。我々の使命は現実を暴露することだ。世界を変える礎となることこそが我々の使命だ。我々難民は人種、宗教を超えた複合体となった。これこそ人類が生き残るのに不可欠な要素であり、アメリカやソ連の特権階級が決して得ることができないものである。我々は一つところにより、共に手を携えて戦わなければならない。米ソの諜報機関を敵とする以上、ここで彼の名を申し上げることはできないが、皆様には先ほどの彼の声を記憶してほしい。彼こそが我々を導き、この世界に調和と安定をもたらすものだ。我々は 最後の一人が撃ち滅ぼされるまで戦い続ける。心ある方々は我々と共に戦ってほしい。それが我々の願いです。マスター。
ガントリー固定完了。短絡注意頼みます。
了解。
Seems we don't have to worry about another installations getting blown to Kingdom Come by that piece of crap, but that does nothing to calm my nerves. Still, we got lucky that he left a spare propellant depot alone, even if there's not much fuel left. The Soviet Union's meticulousness is a pain in the butt when they're your opponents, but it sure is welcome when you're on the same side. Aww. There you go. There's a thumbnail. There's a good one. I like how she's wearing the Argus like flight suit, so she's got the Argus seal on it. What a heartwarming reunion. They really can't live without each other. An encrypted line.
Yuuya, 良いものだな。心から信頼できる者がいるというのは。
Yeah, tell me about it. Freaking holy crap. The nice thing too is also like they're both inside, like the Scar Twins are together and they're in their death machine. It gives me a lot of comfort knowing that. For sure. It's not just a relationship of trust. They love each other from the bottom of their hearts. Maybe this is pretty. Maybe this is petty, but I'm kind of jealous.
みんな守りたいものがあるのだな。いや、そうでなければ人は戦えないのだろう。
Yeah. Truer words have never been spoken. Maybe the reason I fight is to protect these precious small moments for everyday happiness. Goes to show I'm the kind of guy who can only see what's right in front of his eyes, but I'm done lying to myself. Hey, one more, let's just enjoy this a little bit. Because I have a feeling things are about to get real bad, real fast.
ブリッジ少尉、接続の用意ができた。所定位置へ移動しろ。
Copy that, moving into position.
知らぬ新潟の固定を確認した。補給を開始する。
Roger, gauging propellant pump. We're gonna need a plan. Yuuya is seriously injured. Her life isn't at risk, but she won't be seeing combat anytime soon. Dang it. Oh well, at least she's alive. That's the important thing. Never crossed our minds that one of the terrorists could have some serious skills. At least now the Scarlet Twins are back together, we should have a fighting chance. Still, what's coming next will stress the TSS greatly, as well as our bodies and minds. Wonder how long we can last.
ユウヤ、実のところ私には
Uh-oh.
テロリストたちの心情が
Uh-huh. What's wrong? It's unlike her to stop talking mid-sentence.
理解できないわけではないのだ。
I mean, I've been saying that too. I kind of, like, they're making good points. There's a lot of truth, and really, like, their motivation isn't, like, completely just, like, a flawed fanatic, you know? I think they are fanatics. I think they've been exploited, and I think that, but their grievances come from a real place of hardship, pain, misunderstanding, lack of, like, trust, and a lack in belief in the structure that currently runs society. They've been absolutely destroyed, and they've watched people's lives be utterly just sidelined for years, most likely. And the only way they could get out of it was to throw themselves at the front lines and try and fight and try not to die. Like, that was like their one out. Imagine if serving in the military was the only thing that would prevent you and your family from starving to death. Like, that was your only option. Of course you'd sign up. I mean, most of us, I believe if you could, you would. I don't think they'd even take me if I tried. Like, I've just had too many issues, but, you know, push comes to shove. At a time like this, I can walk on 2 feet, I can be handed a weapon, I could probably be found something to do. But still, like, she's right. You're not the only one. Surprising to see a well-bred lady from the Royal Guard isn't that far removed from the plight of the common people. I can relate to how terrorists must feel, too. Hard not to after suffering from discrimination all my life. In fact, my life has been pretty comfortable compared to the stuff they've had to endure. When I start thinking about it, some part of me can't help but sympathize or pity them. There comes a time in anybody's life where you need to fight to get to what you want, even if it means channeling your anger and hatred to drive yourself forward. I resent my grandfather and my grandmother, but in hindsight, their hatred was the driving force behind my accomplishments. So maybe it wasn't all that bad. Now that's a fallacy. There's no justification for being mistreated. You can grab the pain and suffering that you've gone through and you can turn it into something good. You can harness that energy and make it something better. Kind of like radioactive material. Radioactive material is poisonous, it's toxic, it's deadly. There's practically no good way to use it except for energy, but it can be harnessed that way. And when it is, it can become a very vital resource to help people move forward and to grant, peace of mind and peace of body. So no, you can never justify abuse, never justify poverty, never justify violence because it made you stronger. It's true, it can and often does. In fact, facing challenges is one of the best ways to forge a person. Like they always talk about the forger's fire and tempering people. This idea about cleansing impurities through struggle and strain. It's a true factor of life. But the thing is, you can't use that as a means to justify the terrible things that have happened. You don't have to try and make it so that your abusers are exonerated because it happened to make you a better person. That's more you, not them. It's not the abuse that made you a better person. It's not the struggle that made you a better person. You dug deep and made yourself greater and overcame your struggles. Not because of the struggles. Because it helps you understand what you're actually capable of. So never use it as a justification. Each and every single one of these terrorists must have at least a similarly painful past. Even so, I can't condone their methods. Everyone hits a wall at some point in their lives, and there's only one way forward. In the end, escapism is escapism. The more conscious you are of how far you've come, the harder it is to remain blind to your own weaknesses.
当たり前だ。私がテロリストに加担するとでも思ったのか？どれほど心情が理解できようとも、テロ行為は絶対に容認できない。
Yuuya, I wasn't saying that you were thinking that. I was voicing my thoughts. No, I know where you stand. That's not what I wanted to say.
彼らの窮状を耳にすれば、誰でも同情すると思う。だが、自分の意見を押し通すのに暴力を用い、関係のない一般市民をも巻き込む。
Yeah, not showing hesitation when civilians are in the lines of fire really kind of shatters any perception of morality or doing things for the right reasons. It kind of starts to pale. Then it's hard to really truly justify yourself when that happens. And you can make claims all you want, but it gets tougher. The more it happens and the more blatant it is, people start calling it BS.
義憤で立ち上がったはずの者が罪なき者に死を強制する。それは絶対看過できない。
Yeah.
今はたった一人でも大量虐殺が可能な時代だ。言い換えるのならば、暴力というスプリングボードを使えば、自らの意見を多数に強制できる時代なのだ。
She's got a point there. Before the invention of mass weapons of destruction, assault weapons, bombs, nukes, you could try and use violence to persuade people, and you could be successful. But it's still, at that point, essentially, especially when it was swords and bows and arrows, it was essentially one-on-one, person to person. You have a big enough army that they can't challenge it, maybe you'll be able to make it work. But then it starts becoming unwieldy, you have to make more compromises, it kind of held you in check, it kind of limited most of the scope. Nowadays, a single person can destroy an entire city if they have the right armament. That's terrifying.
だからこそ、力を持つ者の責任は重くなる。部に携わる人間は、己を研鑽しなければいけない。でなければ、破廉恥になる。それが、テロでも、各国の政府だったとしてもな。
Oof. Let's frame this one, just put it up on the wall or post it somewhere on the news, right? Let's just repeat it and say it loud for the people in the back, Why the powerful have to carry such heavy responsibilities. It's why the men and women who deal with the use of force as an instrument of policy must strive to resist temptation, for if they don't, they are no better than a band of robbers. And that applies to both terrorist organizations and governments. Is that the mindset they teach you in the Royal Guard?
そういうことだ。
Blowing up an entirety of Alaska to take out the beta. If you ask me, that's no different than from a terrorist attack.
あの話が真実というのなら、何としてでも阻止しなければならない。我々しか手が届かないのなら、なおさらだ。
That means we have to literally kill every beta. We can't let one slip through. Well, yeah.
課せられた責任は重く、辛い仕事ばかりだ。それでも、背負った人間の数だけ、より充実した人生を過ごせているのだと思う。
Maybe you're right. I've been looking out for myself this entire time, while she's been living for the sake of others. Is this the mindset of a Royal Guard pilot? I mean, that's what the ideal mindset of a Royal Guard pilot. He keeps assuming that anything about her is just kind of going back to this training that she's had, like some mystical thing. It's not. She's just a person. She just believes the lessons that she was taught. She honors and wants to like be a living embodiment of these virtues that she believes and cultivates are true. It's Yuuya, not her training, who's saying this. You're one hell of a soldier, Yuuya.
私ごっこ？いや、私はまだまだ未熟者だ。それを言い訳にするつもりはないが。
Don't be modest. You're amazing. Period.
ありがとう。だが、私がすごいというのなら、自分だって。
Really? Why? What do you mean?
貴様のキャリアで、テストパイロットまで駆け上がれる人材は、めったにいないと思う。人の足りない前線国家ならともかく、米軍でだ。簡単な話ではないだろう。
Well, there's nothing remarkable about that. I just let my instincts lead me by the nose, and what my instincts told me was that if I lowered my guard even for a second, I'd have to keep running away forever. That's all there is to it.
それにしても、ローウェル軍曹が生きていて。
Me too. My brother. He better not die. I'm not surprised. Dude's tougher than a $2 steak. Hardy as hell, too. He actually wrote a program that can extract data from the wreckage of a fighting Falcons we shot down and then rebuilds the information that had been automatically deleted. It's a stroke of luck he even managed to give it to Inya. Now we can access unadulterated theater-wide data. Ooh, dang, that's amazing!
ローウェル軍曹には礼を言わねばな。このプログラムは貴重だ。
Vincent's the best. I'll be sure to buy him a drink sometime.
その際には評判させてもらうとするか。私からも感謝を述べたい。
Oh, he'd love that. Sure, I'm not asking you to foot half the bill. You've helped us a grand deal, too. That aside, you Royal Guards are pretty bad, eh, huh? We're about to enter the fray, and TSF held together with duct tape, but you got this gleam in your eye like I've never seen before. What? It's a compliment! He's not! Who says I'm joking? I'd never. I mean every word I said. Oh crap, did I take it too far? Because she looks very pissed off. August 1, copy that. The tank isn't as full as I'd like, but I guess it should do for one more battle. Talk to you later! He's like, gotta go! Those red spots on the map show enemy TSF deployment sites. We should tread carefully around the headquarters building, the nuclear power plant to the integrated communication center. Although it might be out of date, though. Based on the distribution, it should be safe to assume they've lost almost all of the UN security forces TSFs. The TSF used by the American security forces have been deployed in the southern part of the Yukon base. Why? Are they building a defensive line against the Beta? All I can see they're using the Soviet security force TSFs to keep watch over critical facilities in the vicinity of the headquarters building. Yeah, there's no way mere 4 machines could retake the command center, but what's up with all the movement on the eastern side of the base? At any rate, if combat breaks out near the headquarters building, we should expect to be swarmed by reinforcements coming from all directions. We can't assume they'll retreat, so they'll have us against a wall like they did before. So if we're going to take over HQ, we'll need to hit them hard and hit them fast. Take over the building, call the American and Soviet forces, and then move to keep the Beta in check. We got lucky Inya managed to link up with us, but both the Strike Eagles have basically hit their limits. Anyway, we have to work in tandem with the infantry units or we're toast. First, though, we have to rely so much on Lieutenant Sendek's connections, but beggars can't be choosers. Alright, we're ready. Here we go. Stand by security force hangar, Yukon Army base, Alaska.
空ごとには付き合えない。同志サンダーク注意。戦術機と機械化装甲歩兵が闊歩しているのだ。下水だけを移動するにしても限界があるだろう。何より機関の情報を確認する術がない。
He's scared for good reason.
手引きはこちらですると言っている。敵戦術機には貴様たちに指一本触れさせはしない。繰り返す。司令部ビルに陸戦部隊を突入させる。中央作戦司令室を抑えれば勝負は決まる。機関の協力が必要だ。
Yeah. Unfortunately, TSS can't really get down there.
どうしよう。君の任務は有事の際に敵の本拠を制圧するということだったのではないか。それをせずしてスペツナズを名乗るわけにはいくまい。
承服できない。未確認情報だけで名誉ある部隊を危険にさらすわけにはいかない。機関の情報が正しければ、その数を相手に4機の戦術機で護衛が可能とは思えない。
I mean, we're all like the thing is like the truth is matter is that we're all gonna die if we don't.
我が部隊の活躍は知っているはずだ。同志シェブロフスキー少尉。スカーレットツインが護衛に回る。
機関と私では指揮系統が違う。我々はソ連軍参謀本部情報総局に属する。階級上位者といえども機関の命令は受け入れられない。
ここに及んで事態が理解できないというのなら、貴様は救いがたい無能だ。数時間後にはベータに蹂躙される可能性もある。座して死ぬつもりか？
我々も独自に情報を収集している。機関の判断には従えない。
Alright, come on, dude. This is getting... I understand you're scared, and you just really don't want to do it, but, like, it's not like this is rocket surgery.
忠告しておく。機関が逃げ込んでいるセーフハウスの位置はすでに敵も掌握しているはずだ。その場所は安全ではない。
何？機関は？
ソ連軍哨戒待機ハンガーからどこかに回線が繋がっている。テロリストとしては興味を持たざるを得んだろう。普段なら把握される可能性のない専用回線でも今は違う。基地の支配者は奴らだ。それと同志少尉。有事に際して貴様が行動せずに傍観者でいたことは報告させてもらう。現状では貴様の部隊に存在意味はない。セライクでの言い訳を考えておくことだな。
So Selawik's their new Siberia, huh?
利的行為だ。サンダーク注意。機関の行動はいたずらに味方を危険にさらすものだ。機関こそ軍法会議に。
失礼。通信を変わりました。スタニスラフ・ニコラエビッチ・ゼレノフ軍曹であります。スタニスラフ・ニコラエビッチ。懐かしい名を聞いたぞ。ご無沙汰しております。同志サンダーク注意。開発に移られても相変わらずですな。デブロフスキー少尉は急遽体調を崩され、意識を消失された模様です。
His second in command was just listening to this. He's like, nope, we're not dealing with this. Goodbye, Lieutenant. Boom! They call this a field demotion.
了解した。気の毒なことだ。ゆっくり寝かしてやってくれ。この状況はふぬけには厳しいものがある。まったくです。部下たちも少尉を気の毒に思い、彼の分までやる気になってくれています。
I mean, power to him. I think he's making the right call.
よし。同志ゼレノフ軍曹。緊急事態だ。君は部隊をまとめて私に従え。責任は私が取る。作戦の指示はこれより口頭で行うが、まずはそちらの状況を確認したい。了解。あなたの指揮下で戦える日を楽しみにしていました。
Alright, good. Alright, we got something.
戦力が足りないな。
全員がセーフハウスにたどり着けたわけではないので、その意味では真っ先に戦術機を抑えられたのは痛かったですね。あれと機械化歩兵の巡回で隠密移動は封じられたようなもんです。
See, that's what we can probably make a big difference of. Mechanized infantry. As long as they're out in the open, somewhat, we can absolutely destroy them.
ですが、現戦力でも作戦行動は可能です。ジェブロフスキーの野郎はひたすら待機と繰り返すだけでしたがね。
同志ゼレノフ、デルタフォースの居場所は掴んでいるか？
はい。対テロ専門のデルタが数十日前に送り込まれています。連絡は可能ですが、アメリカが背後にいる可能性がある以上、リスキーなのでは。
だからだ、軍曹。アメリカの真意は、デルタフォースの動きで判断できる。 利用できるならよし、できぬならば敵だ。
Ah.
殲滅すればいい。
Since Delta Force is an anti-terrorist group, he's saying we can learn. Either they have no idea what's going on, in which case they'll be a great asset, or they know what's going on, and we'll kill them.
了解。ですが混成は得策ではありません。別目標を攻撃させるべきかと。
よかろう。奴らには花を持たせてやれ。国連警備部隊にも連絡を取れ。連中にはせいぜい派手に暴れてもらえばいい。
Yeah, okay. Draw out some of the limited forces and try and make our attempt to take HQ even easier.
了解。では我々は裏方に徹するとします。
Good, good.
状況を整理する。アメリカ大陸へのベータ流入を防ぐためのレッドシフトのデッドラインが設定されているのは、ブルックス山脈からクック湾の間である。
Alright, I'm gonna look this up real quick because I'm curious if I can figure out like what this is describing. They might show me a map, but I don't know. So I'm looking at the map right now. Brooks Range is essentially like a mountain range, and Cook's Inlet. Okay, yeah, I can even see it. So it's essentially just the mountain range that goes along the coastline. So it would essentially detonate like there's a bunch of like the part of like Alaska that looks like a face is like that's all gonna go. It'd be a straight line at that point where essentially they just blow up the mountain range and everything else. Well, not the mountain range, blow up to the mountain range. The mountain range would become the next line of defense.
これほど大規模ではないが、過去にもクラチ卿を核の集中運用で海峡に変えて防衛線を築いた例がある。
Right.
レッドシフトが発動した場合、ラインより西部の地区が水爆によってほぼ消滅する。なお、被害想定範囲にはこのユーコン基地も含まれる。
Yeah, so even if we aren't like literally destroyed by the actual bombs, we're dead anyway.
崩壊するか。市内にしても放射能汚染で立ち入り禁止区域になるか。いずれにせよ人間の住める土地ではなくなる。テロリストの放送の真偽を図る術を我々は持ってはいないが、虚偽であると断定できない以上、我々はこの愚かな行為が実行されるのを未然に防がなければならない。
Right.
また、米ソ両国も何らかの対抗手段を取っているものだと思われる。
I wonder what they're up to, yeah. We've seen the first attempt at countermeasures fail, so what's the next one? Like I said, I'm actually kind of surprised that they were going to go with the nuclear option. Why not use one of the orbital defense nuke platforms? Because we know those exist. They normally prevent beta seed, like hive seeds, I guess you could call them, like essentially what they use to start new like hives on other worlds. They stop them from landing on Earth. But they can easily turn them down on us, so I wonder why they haven't done that.
まず第一に予想されるのは、大陸間弾道弾の集中運用によるベータの殲滅。ただしこれは、両国の間に相互不信が漂う現状では、米ソ二国間での核戦争を引き起こしかねない。
Oh, I see. He's worried that if they, like, so if America tries to do a bombing on Alaska to try and stop this, the Russian forces that are probably still half blind right now will see that as an imminent threat. They might launch some of their ballistics towards America, and that could just end poorly.
無論、それ以上の被害が出る可能性が高いなら、躊躇なく実行されるだろうが、条件的に見ても非常に厳しい。現実的には、戦術機部隊と爆撃機部隊の派遣になると考えられるが、その際に最も問題なのは、ユーコン基地全体が強力なジャミングの影響下にあることだ。
With communication blackout, it's the worst because, like, blackout communication's killing us right now.
彼らが渇望しているであろう情報、ベータの分布状況とテロリストの戦力、いずれもが外部からは把握できない状態だ。よって我々の任務は、米ソ両国への正確な情報の伝達となる。
Agreed. So, get to command, release like the jammer, get information out, and then we can plan.
我々が任務に失敗した場合、レッドシフトが発動し、ユーコン基地もろともアラスカの半分は海に沈むことになると予想される。ベータリンク情報によれば、あくまでも暫定ではあるが、テロリストの残存機数は66機と想定される。
That's still a lot.
テロリストに露獲された国連部隊は殲滅することに成功したが、ソ連部隊と米軍部隊の戦術機はほぼ無傷で残っている。これに正面から当たるのはさすがに無謀だ。研究施設から解放されたベータは、
先ほどの高度991に付随して送信されたデータから連隊規模と推定される。我々に残された戦力、そしてベータ進行速度と地理条件、これらを総合的に鑑みると、現有戦力では拡散するベータの殲滅は不可能だと断言できる。
There's too few of us and we don't have enough weapons.
先ほど述べた通り、外部から戦力を招聘することが唯一の打開策である。だが、ジャミングの網を抜ける方法は確保できたが、現在我々が所有する通信システムの出力では、外部への連絡は不可能だ。ジャミング圏外や脱出後に情報を発信したとしても、時間的に間に合わない。
Right, because this is a big jamming zone.
よって、残された手段として、可及的速やかに司令部ビル及び総合通信センターを奪還し、その施設をもって外部へ連絡。航空戦力の支援を待ち、データを一掃する。
今更だが、ジャミング対策に時間がかかりすぎたことは悔やまれるな。まさか全帯域を封鎖していると見せかけて、特定の帯域を一定のパターンで切り替えて使う古典的な手法だったとは。脳天疲れた。
So switching between predetermined bandwidth following a set pattern while also pretending to block. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, what essentially they're doing is they're sending out garbage. So it's funny because I've actually taken a little bit of a private fun. I took it kind of for fun because I was bored during COVID. Essentially ham training. I didn't get to complete it just because I ran out of time and I just don't have the equipment, but I learned a lot of the basics. And so what's essentially happening is this jamming, and they're just sending up garbage. They're just broadcasting, just like, imagine like every time you turn to a radio, but every signal was static or ear screeching horror sounds, right? Like the when you get two microphones close together and stuff. Like it's just mess. It's garbage. And if you try to put another signal out in any of that frequency, it's just going to get lost in the mess. It'd be nearly impossible to piece it together. And you'd have to have something that's incredibly sensitive, and you'd have to be able to like somehow hear it amidst that really loud, horrendous sounds. So how do the terrorists communicate when everyone else doesn't? Well, they leave tiny gaps of wavelengths where they aren't sending the screeching like disruption set at certain time intervals. So maybe every 3 minutes they have a loop where they have a set frequency, and they kind of go through a checklist, a pattern of like 20 different frequencies that they keep a very small bandwidth open that they allow for communication. So for 30 minutes at a time, a single radio station becomes available to listen to, but only the terrorists know what it is, and they keep rotating it. So even if you found that frequency, by the time you'd be able to take advantage of it, it'll suddenly be filled with jamming force again. So essentially, they're just using a loud screeching machine to block out communication.
航空戦力を召喚するには、ユーコン基地内部に散開したレーザー級の始末が必要となる。我々が相当できない場合は、基地外の戦術機部隊がその任を負うこととなるが、当然ながら、時間的なロスが大きくなり、状況はより深刻化する。
So, point 1, get communications. Point 2, we have to take out the laser class if at all possible.
ユーコン基地外部にベータの脱出を許した場合、その先に広がるのは無人の原野だ。ベータが原生林に紛れた場合、発見は非常に困難となる。
Point 3, if any beta escape, which they're likely to do if they continue on their march, as they march out, they're spreading out, the harder they are to find, and if we let one slip, we could all be dead anyway.
テロリストの放送が正しいと仮定する前提付きではあるが、デッドラインに一定数の大型種が到達すれば、レッドシフトが作動するように設定される。
Okay, so we just have to make sure large ones don't get through. But even then, like, imagine, like, even if we do all this and there's just, like, some rogue soldier classes just wandering the forests. That's a terrifying thought.
身長と臆病は紙一重ですな。
同志ゼレノフ、口を慎め。ギブソン対部下の比例を詫びる。
抽象とは思っていないさ。事実だからな。軍人としてレッドシフトは容認できるが、それを作動させていいかどうかは、また別の問題だ。
Yeah, he's saying, like, look, the principle of what it was is sound. Beta invasion coming across the strait, we gotta make sure it doesn't make a landfall that's, like, permanent. But right now, considering that it might be triggered by Americans hiding beta behind our own lines, yeah, that's a pretty stupid reason for this to happen.
ここまで来ればソ連だけの問題ではないだろう。我ら米軍はテロを決して許さない。
ギブソン大尉に同意します。我々は齟齬を乗り越え、協力して作戦を成功させなければなりません。
では説明を続ける。デストロイヤー級は最大時速170キロで移動が可能だが、奴らがどれだけの間、その速度を維持できるかは不明だ。
They're still stinking fast, though.
最高速度を維持したと仮定し、さらに地理的条件、人類側の抵抗手段等を全て除外して考えた場合、奴らは最短で80分後には最も近いデッドラインに到達する。各種障害を考慮し、その上で平均時速をその半分と見積もったとしても、我々に残された時間はせいぜい3時間前後だ。司令部を制圧したとしても、基地外部に連絡を取り、それから米ソ両軍が出張ってくる時間も考慮すると、猶予はさらに減少する。
Oh my gosh, it just keeps getting harder.
デッドラインでタイトロープとは、シャレが効いてるな。
我々は現有戦力による戦闘能力と、ベータ駆除に必要とされる時間を考慮し、ベータの進行とタイミングを合わせて、司令部付近に展開中の敵戦術機部隊に戦闘を仕掛ける。
Oh, that would make it less likely that we're gonna have to deal with like the reinforcements all swarming us because they're gonna be busy.
このタイミングであれば、敵戦術機部隊や司令部区画周辺に潜んでいるであろう。機械化装甲歩兵部隊も自衛のためにベータに対応せざるを得ないだろう。
I don't like this though, because doesn't this mean that we're literally going to be sacrificing all the civilians to the beta while we're trying to retake our I mean, unfortunately the terrorists might have left us with no other choice, but like it still sucks.
リルフォートに流れ込んだベータは彼らに対応してもらう。
Yeah, see.
リルフォートにベータの侵入を許すことにはなるが、致し方ない。当然犠牲者は出るだろうが、作戦が失敗すれば被害はユーコンだけにとどまらず、世界は地図の書き換えが必要になる。今は時間こそ。
Man, what a crappy situation to be in.
戦術機部隊は司令部付近での交戦の後、敵戦術機を司令部付近から引き離しにかかる。ただし、敵戦術機部隊の引き離しに失敗した場合は、その場に陸戦部隊の突入成功まで継続される。なおこの際、戦域を抜けたベータ軍は無視する。
Yeah, cool. Just don't let them get to you guys.
先ほど述べたように戦術機部隊は敵を引きつけつつ、基地南部に展開している進行速度の遅いレーザー級を殲滅し、航空戦力の侵入を幇助する。高村注意。戦術機部隊の指揮は機関に一任する。
わかりました。
戦術機部隊の誘導とタイミングを合わせ、我々陸戦部隊は作戦を開始する。ベルタフォースが総合通信センターを襲撃。同時に、スペツナズは司令部ビルに攻撃を仕掛ける。
Gotcha.
待て三択注意。突入のタイミングをずらそう。戦術機の誘導に引き続き、まず我々が通信センターに攻撃を仕掛け、注意を集める。テロリストには総合通信センターの奪還を主目的と錯誤してもらう。敵の陸戦兵力は少ない。派手にやれば増援をよこすはずだ。我々もおとり役を務めよう。
All things being equal, that's a really solid plan and a great offer, but I'm not sure we have the time for that.
二重の陽動か。だが難しい任務になるぞ。
幸い司令部からの連絡橋は落ちているんだ。陽動した上で制圧もしてみせる。損害は覚悟の上だ。その方が確実だろ。通信センターへの侵入は容易ではないと思うが、それ以上に、司令部ビルへの接近は容易ではないだろう。たとえビル近辺まで到着できても、早期に侵入できなければ。
That does make sense, I suppose.
いや、司令部ビルの侵入は可能だ。道は用意されている。私はそこから脱出した。
そいつは上々だ。ソ連軍が司令部ビルへの侵入手段を持っているという噂は聞いていたがね。
That's a good point.
噂？確たる情報として掴んでいたのではないか。
一応驚いてみせるのが礼儀かと思ったのさ。では、大には感謝の言葉を述べればな。だが、問題は司令部ビルに侵入した後だ。ゼレノフ軍曹、司令部の設計図を。
テロリストは司令部ビル地下5階の中央作戦司令室に中枢を置いていることが判明しています。 中央作戦司令室は対爆区画にあり、司令室以外にも司令官執務室やオペレーションルーム、その他大小30以上の部屋で構成されています。
This is a nightmare because in order to do this procedure as safely as possible, you essentially have to do breach and clear. So what it means is that you have to secure a route, but you have to clear all potential hiding places because the last thing you want is to be ambushed from behind. So it means you have to move methodically slow, down hallways, constantly in danger of being assaulted, whilst you have to check each and every room and try and make sure that there's nothing there to catch you off guard.
循環機構も完備されておりますので、籠城されると厄介です。コンクリートと複合材を使ったシェルター構造では壁抜きも不可能でしょうし、下手すりゃ年単位で立てこもられちまいますよ。
Which we don't have time for.
バンカーバスターか S11 を集中運用しない限り破られることはない。そういう話だったな。
I remember S11s, it's something I've struggled to remember in previous playthroughs, so now it's been a bit, like, beaten into my head. The S11s are the portable miniature nukes that some TSFs carry into battle. The U.S. Air Force bombers tried to run exactly that operation, except the terrorists released a bunch of laser class and stopped them dead in their tracks.
地下5階までの侵入経路は、貨物運搬用を含め8機のエレベーターと4カ所の階段。ここまではなんとかなるでしょう。だが、無事地下5階に到達したとしても、その先には例の対爆構造の区画です。よって我々は敵が反撃の手段を整える前に素早く侵入し、これを制圧する必要があります。
Oh, we're just treading.
ガスの使用許可をいただきたくあります。
Just walking towards the war crimes, oh boy.
換気システムにも対ガスの備えはあるでしょうが、直接ぶち込めばなんとかなるはずです。大事の前の生じですよ。ガス使用の許可を。
Gas is indiscriminate, and it depends on what kind. Are they just using some kind of incapacitory gas, and it just knocks people out, hopefully? Still could be deadly, but that. If we're talking like, you know, World War I horrors of mustard gas type of stuff, like, we're just gonna kill everybody in there, including the people who are being held hostage.
無力化ガスがあるのか。おいおい。まさか VX ガスを持ち込んでるわけじゃないだろうな。
Oh no. Oh no.
おいおい、なんてことだ。貴様ら。
その話は本当なのですか？
同志サンダーク注意。終わらせることさえできれば、あとはどうとでもなります。連中は素人だ。ガスに即応できる可能性は低い。通信センターの制御優先権が主要作戦司令室にある可能性がある以上、そこは必ず落とさなければならんのです。ガスの使用許可を。
サンダーク注意。
今さら協定違反だなんだというつもりはないが、人質は全員死亡するぞ。生存の可能性など微塵もなくな。それが許されるのか。テロリストがガスを使用してもおかしくない状況だ。責任は奴らに押し付ければいい。それ以前に今やらなければ国が滅びる。人質たちには納得してもらうしかない。
God, that's a tough choice. Fetch V. Because, like, the idea is that if they don't use the gas, it means that chances of success, and especially timely enough success, are really low. But I'd also like to point out, do you have a way to clear the gas? Because what use is a room full of corpses in a command center that we can't access?
私は反対です。テロリストの手法を思い出してください。ガスに対しても何らかの備えがあると考えた方がいい。失敗した場合は全世界に恥をさらすことになります。仮にここにいる全員が口をつぐんだとしても、ガスの成分から出所の特定は可能です。事件終結後に協定違反を問う者は必ず現れる。
周囲は手を汚したくないと。
ゼレノフ軍曹、混乱に乗じてごまかしきれるほど軽い話かどうかよく考えろ。国を救ってもその未来が閉ざされては何の意味もない。どちらかを選ぶ話ではない。無論人道的観点から思うところはある。軍人は生死を司る神ではないのだから。だが救うべき人々を選択しなければならないのなら、その現実は受け入れる。先ほど私はリルフォートが全滅することを容認した。今さら手を汚すことをためらうものか。だが覚えておいてほしい。今人の倫理を排除して貴様の作戦を実行すれば、 間違いなく己の中の前例となり、
She's talking.
より過激な手段を容認するぞ。
She's talking slippery slope doctrine.
己を律することができる人間は、どのような状況でもそれを忘れない。たとえ偽善と言われようとも。
注意の意見はもっともだ。レッドシフトが発動し、ユーコン基地が放射能に汚染されたとしても、アメリカが国際世論をごまかすための調査で協定違反をやり玉に上げる可能性はあるし。
I mean, sure, twist her words, but I mean, I get what you're saying.
人間とは一度外れたタガを己ではめ直すことは極めて困難な生き物でもある。ゼレノフ軍曹、我々は注意の見識に感謝しなければならない。
I bet you Sedek's more pissed off that he just revealed that they have this gas on hand at the base.
では我々はどうすればいいと。ガスを使わず短時間で制圧するのは不可能です。成功の目が 1% でもあるなら我々は命を捨てましょう。ですが
軍曹、対爆区画への侵入に際しては
一点突破は最も損害の出るケースです。犬死にまがいの作戦には同意できません。
同志ゼレノフ、自分が何を言っているのか理解しているのか。貴様の発言はとうとう人民への反逆行為に値するぞ。
さてサンダーク中尉、人類の危機を迎えている中で我々はいつまで鼻毛をこなさなければならないのだ。
真意を図りかねる。何が
ソ連人は本当に食えない奴ばかりだ。対爆区画の設計データはここにある。侵入可能な箇所も記載されている。ただし俺が漏洩させたのは公にせず基地の事実として取り扱ってほしい。これが提供の条件だ。
They have extraction blast points built in, weaknesses that they hide specifically for something like this.
どうせぶっ壊しちまうんだ。隠していても宝の持ち腐れだからな。我々は司令部ビルに接近する手段を持っていなかったために実行できなかったが、もともとあのビルには何らかの事情で司令部に閉じ込められた時のために対爆装甲核の一部、司令部の地下6階から天井を崩して侵入できる場所が設定されている。
It's a good idea, failsafes.
ほう、図面データで B503 とあるはずだ。第3会議室に侵入できる。この一帯にはケーブルなどは通っていない。破壊しても司令部の能力に影響はない。確認してくれ。中4を使用すれば十分に抜けるはずだ。
了解した。機関の協力に感謝する。
ああ、成功させてくれよ。失敗したらシャレにならないぜ。ありがたい。ここからなら手持ちの C4 で十分事足りますよ。上の都合はこの際関係ない。政治家が愚かなのはどの国も同じだろう。お互い苦労するな。どうし。
違いない。国に言いづらくなったのなら、
I'm sure they would love to have Delta Force in their ranks.
そいつはありがたいがね。俺は暖かい地方の出身でな。アラスカは寒すぎるよ。
それでは作戦を開始する。最優先は人質の確保ではなくテロリストの制圧だ。我々の行動の結果に世界の命運がかかっている。いいな。
Now that feels like the pressure point there where he's going to try and take advantage of the situation is, oh no, our Russian soldiers are inside the base. Oh, too bad. It sucks that the UN and the United States prisoners were executed, but we managed to save at least the Soviet guy.
依存ありません。敵戦術機部隊は我々が必ず抑えます。機関らには指一本触れさせません。
頼むぜ。
すべては私の責任。そして、私の意志。任務は単純だ。敵を引きつければいい。それ。私は言い切らなければならない。そして、部下に道を示さなければいけない。私は、指揮官なのだ。
Here we go. We ready? Oh boy.
最後にもう一度作戦を確認する。高村中尉を指揮官とする戦術機小隊が テロリストの戦術機をできる限り長時間引きつける。
Alright, since we're going to be doing a quick review, I think this is the perfect place for us to stop, because we'll do like a quick refresher at the beginning, and then we'll be launching into it. But we've seen the plan, we've seen the discussion, we've had a lot to chew and think about, so we're going to end it here. Thank you so much for being here. I need to start saying that more often. I say it like, it sounds like it's such a routine where you just hear at the end of each of my videos, but you need to understand I really mean it. Like, the fact you're watching, the fact that I get to read your comments, the fact that some of you have even like elected to become patrons and channel members to support the channel directly, it means so much to me. This is a small channel. It's a pipe dream. It's something I make because I want to make content that I wish I could watch. Like, I felt like there weren't enough channels covering this type of content, and the ones that were very, I don't know, I just don't feel like they were immersing themselves in the dialogue as much, and, like, that's nothing against them, of course. Everyone has their own style, but, like, I was always wanting somebody to make content in a way that, like, appealed to me, and then I started making that content because I felt like, you know, it would be fun to do so, and I really loved it, and so the fact that so many of you are so supportive of me, it means the world to me. We may not have these meg numbers, but it's wonderful, so thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I want to make sure you feel that, so, like, I just don't know how else I can besides saying thank you. So I say it a million times, but I mean it every time. Anyway, I appreciate you spending your time here. I'm looking forward to reading your comments on this one. Oof, yeah. Lots of stuff to talk about. But hopefully next week, now that we've got all of our forces together, we have a bit of a battle plan. Things are going to get crazy, but I'm hoping we're going to make it through okay. I'm going to have faith. I'm going to believe in the team of Argus and the Scarlet Twins. I think we've got what it takes to maybe pull this off. But we'll have to see. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. It means the world to me. And until next video, watching me up, see me next. I'll see you there.